right, everybody. Good morning. Carson Meredith with you, filling in for Brian Good, who is off today. He'll be back on Monday. A lot to talk about as we head into the weekend. It's all quiet today, which is good after the rocky start we had on Thursday. But we do have quite a bit to discuss, not just for this weekend, but also into next week. Bots fans, snow lovers, you're going to like next week. We got a couple of snow chances that we are watching. One on Tuesday, and then another one, it looks like, on Thursday of next week. But before we get there, we got some storms to talk about in between. Let's just jump right into it, by the way. Get you outside to downtown Louisville. How about that view? Nice bright blue sky, gorgeous morning, albeit a little chilly. Let's see what our current temperature is. It's 36 here in Louisville at the moment. A lot of you still in the lower 30s right now. So definitely need those heavier coats if you're about to head out the door this morning. But all in all, it's shaping up to be a very nice and typical early February day. Average highs around 45 or 46, somewhere in that ballpark. And we'll wind up in the upper 40s later on. Let's look at the next 12. Not too bad. Well, this is for tomorrow. I hit the wrong graphic. Of course I did. But as far as today, just fine. Now, as we get into tomorrow, since the graphic's up, we'll talk about it. It's just going to be a yucky day. And there's still the chance for some thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. This, at this point, does not look to be like what we had yesterday morning. And there's a couple reasons why. We'll explain here over the next couple of minutes. But keep the umbrella handy, no matter what time of day you're going to be out tomorrow, morning, afternoon, or night, because we'll be seeing those showers move in really as early as tonight, overnight tonight. And we'll start things off tomorrow morning with just good old-fashioned rain showers, but it's later in the day as the cold front gets closer when those storm chances may come into play. And again, this is not a slam dunk when it comes to storm chances. And I really don't see much of a severe weather threat, at least for now, for tomorrow. All right? Let's see who's commenting, who's watching us this morning. Angela's watching. Hope you're well. Let's see. Weather Geek says, good morning from sunny and warm Florida. Come on down. That does sound nice. That does sound nice, Weather Geek. I'm a little bit jealous, not going to lie. DJ King says, good morning from North Vernon. Tracy watching us in Salem this morning. All right, let's dive deeper into the entire weekend as a whole, okay? We mentioned tomorrow it's just going to be a nasty day. Now, you see our forecast high is 63, but tomorrow is going to be very similar to what we had yesterday morning, where there's a warm front basically parked right over wave country. And the south, further south you are of that front, the warmer you're going to be. Whereas if you're north of that warm front, it's going to be chilly. And we still have to nail down where exactly that warm front's going to settle. Right now, it looks like it's going to be just south of I-64. Let's say down closer to Shepherdsville, E-Town, and further north, you're going to be stuck in the 40s. Further south, might be in the low 60s tomorrow afternoon. So that's why our forecast high says 63, but not everybody's getting up into the 60s tomorrow. We get into Sunday, the big game, obviously, Sunday night. For any party plans you might have, it looks fine. It will be cloudy on Sunday. It will be cooler again with those highs in the 30s by Sunday. Show you what's happening across the country right now. That frontal boundary that was responsible for the storms yesterday morning, it's way down here today. Down into the Carolinas, Georgia, and Alabama. You see a few showers across Tennessee this morning. That's not an issue for us at all. We look nice and quiet through the day today, but we're going to get basically that front to our south will lift back into our area as the warm front starting overnight tonight. And that's when the shower chances will start to come into play, is late tonight. And once those showers get here, it's going to stay pretty damp all day tomorrow. So for tomorrow morning, no storms, just good old-fashioned rain showers. Still just kind of a nasty morning to be outside, so keep the umbrella handy. We may get a little break around lunchtime. There'll still be a few showers around, but it looks like into the early afternoon, we may get a small lull before the cold front sweeps through. And that's when those rain and storm chances spike, where you see that 80% chance as we get towards around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, the severe weather threat is pretty low at this point, but it's something we will keep an eye on. We get into Sunday or Saturday evening, rather, past, let's say 9 or 10 o'clock. That cold front moves out pretty quickly, which means the rain chances will move out pretty quickly as well. Let's go through Futurecast. You'll see what I'm talking about. We get into Saturday morning, 4 a.m. Temperatures in the mid to upper 30s, above freezing. So all of this would just be good old-fashioned rain, hit and miss showers with maybe a little drizzle in there as well. Then you get into the afternoon. Well, this is late morning, 9 o'clock, but you can already see where that temperature gradient is. So here in Louisville at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're in the 40s, but you get down to Columbia, Kentucky, and it's already in the mid-50s. So where this warm front settles tomorrow will decide how warm you get on Saturday, and that'll also dictate where the highest storm chances are going to be tomorrow as well. So let's just kind of guesstimate where that warm front is tomorrow morning. I'd say it's right along the parkways from Lebanon, near E-Town, between Litchfield and Hardinsburg. So this is where the warm sector would be. Further to the north, here in Louisville, southern Indiana, just some cold and damp showers to start things off tomorrow morning, okay? Let's keep going. Here's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You kind of saw that brief lull in the showers, but here comes the front off to our west. Now, this isn't the front itself. This is just the rain ahead of it, right? But let's look at the temperatures, okay? Here in the city, 47, so upper 40s tomorrow afternoon. But look down here in southern Kentucky. Ooh, boy, it's going to be a mild afternoon. Mid-60s. Let's see, 65 in Campbellsville and Columbia, 68 in Litchfield tomorrow afternoon. So that's where we're going to have to watch for maybe a little instability. Not a ton. This does not look to be as prolific of a system as what we had yesterday, but it's still something we can't ignore because there's a lot of wind energy above our heads with this system, similar to what we had yesterday morning. But it's going to be that central Kentucky region that we'll have to watch for maybe some gusty storms. Further to the north, gusty showers is really all it's going to be. But we get into 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, cold front starting to move in from our west, so the rain cover spikes back up. Get into 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it doesn't look that impressive, guys, just to be totally honest with you. But you see this line that develops directly along the cold front. This would be around 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. If we can get some of that warmer air to move further north, that might open the door for at least a little instability for a couple of storms. Not as much as yesterday, still something to watch. More than anything else, quite honestly, I think this will just be gusty rain showers. That's it. But nonetheless, if you got any Saturday evening plans, umbrellas are certainly a good idea. As that line of gusty showers with a few rumbles of thunder rolls through, the temperatures will drop very, very quickly. But we're not expecting any changeover from rain to freezing rain or anything like that tomorrow. You notice by 10 or 11 o'clock, any thunder chance we might have is out of here. So this should not be a huge concern tomorrow. But these kind of setups can be sneaky this time of year. As we saw yesterday morning, you don't need a ton of instability to get some decent storms around here in February. So we can't totally just push it to the side, say no big deal. There might be some gusty storms, especially where some of that warmer, more unstable air might wind up during the day tomorrow. But it doesn't look quite as concerning as yesterday. So that's why there's no alert day in place for tomorrow. Folks asking, where's Brian at? He's still on vacation. He'll be back on Monday. We promise. He will be back. Ashley says, don't need the snow next week. I got a sinus infection already. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Ashley. I know a lot of us are sick right now. Sounds like the flu is the big troublemaker. So hope everybody gets healed up, rested up. Hopefully all those schools can get back into next week. The big question is, as Joseph asked, how bad is Tuesday going to be? Well, it looks interesting. We'll explain Tuesday's setup, the latest here after we pay some bills. So give us 30 seconds. We got to pay a couple of bills, and we will dive deeper into what we know for Tuesday and Thursday as well. May have a couple chances for winter weather next week. Hang tight. We'll be back in 30. All right, we're back. Thanks for sticking with us while we pay some bills there. All right, let's dive into Tuesday. That is our next alert day. And this is not a cut and dry winter weather potential. This is one of those deals similar to what we had back in January in the sense that we're going to have all types of precipitation on the table. I'm talking regular rain, freezing rain, sleet, snow. It's all possible. But we are, what is it? Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We're 4 days out. Okay? Still a lot to be adjusted with this Tuesday setup. And quite honestly, it's a domino effect. How tomorrow goes may have a role in how Tuesday goes, which may have a role in how next Thursday goes. So a lot is still going to be adjusted as we go through the rest of the day today and into this weekend and into Monday. But here is where things stand at this stage of the game. There is still the chance this could be a winter storm. What I'm showing you now is the GFS, because the GFS has certainly been a colder idea, which would mean more wintry weather and more impacts as we get towards Tuesday. So this is 2 o'clock Tuesday morning. You can see by and large, if this system or if this setup holds, it would be all snow, at least to start things off. There might be a little wintry mix in our far southern counties, let's say Greentail or Adair. But this is a colder solution. This is a colder setup that the GFS has been pretty consistent with for the last few days. So we can't totally ignore that, right? So as we go through Tuesday morning, you notice that aside from a little wintry mix in our southern counties, the GFS wants to keep this as all snow for most of wave country. If that's the case, we'll see some decent accumulations across the entire region, especially closer to the Ohio River and into southern Indiana. Having said that, all right, the European model wants to have the rain-snow line right along the Ohio River, right along I-64, right through Louisville, of course. That's how it always seems to play out. So that 50-mile difference, if you lived here long enough, you know that 50-mile difference between the rain-snow line will have a huge impact on how this all plays out on Tuesday. Again, this is the GFS model. It's been cold, or the colder setup for a while. But the European model starts this off as a wintry mix along the Ohio River, keeps most of the snow in southern Indiana, and transitions most, if not all of us, to just plain rain Tuesday afternoon. Obviously, if that were to take place, that would limit accumulations, hopefully would impact or limit travel impacts. So we'll see. Again, 50-mile difference, still 4 days out. Hopefully we can get that difference a little less in the days to come. But all that to say, this is definitely not set in stone just yet, right? But for the time being, the GFS, which is what I'm showing you now, keeps this largely as snow. The European wants to keep it as a mixed bag of everything. So we'll see how that plays out in the days ahead. And you notice even into Tuesday evening, the GFS still wants to keep this largely all snow. it's really going to come down to those temperatures. This is a borderline setup when it comes to being above or below freezing. And we talk about a 50-mile difference between where that rain snow line might set up. That comes down to a 1 or 2 degree difference with those temperatures. So this is not one of those setups where it is locked in, no doubt about it, big time snowstorm like we had back in January. However, this could be a winter storm that gives us decent snowfall accumulations that could give us a little bit of freezing rain or sleet and could cause travel issues. So that's why we flagged Tuesday as an alert day, way ahead to give you guys that earliest alert that Tuesday might be a little interesting. All right, let me answer some questions because I'm sure y'all have quite a bit. Todd says, haven't y'all had enough of this winter for a year? I have, but I know a lot of you out there want more. That is for sure. Angela doesn't want the rain, though. The yard's still very squishy. Needs to dry out. Yeah, it does. That's all of our yards around here because of the snow melt we had and a lot of the rain we had, especially at the end of January. Which, by the way, one thing I do want to mention with this setup, if all of this rain that the GFS is showing down in Tennessee, if it moves further north, we're going to have some flooding issues in central Kentucky by the end of next week because it's not just this Tuesday system we're watching. We've got another system on Thursday that we need to watch, which I'll talk about here in a minute. And we may have another system after that next weekend. So there could be some substantial amounts of rain, especially in our Kentucky counties over the next 7 to 10 days. So we have to keep an eye on that flooding potential because like Angela mentioned, all of our yards are waterlogged. So obviously the ground is waterlogged and that means it's not going to take much to cause more flooding issues. Let's see. Josh on YouTube says, I will rather have the snow than a cold rain and keep those temperatures down. Well, if you're a fan of the snow, you're cheering for the GFS right now because, again, the European wants to push that rain snow line along the Ohio River, which would keep most of the snow in southern Indiana and keep a lot of Kentucky in just good old-fashioned rain. So, again, 4 days out, so a lot's still going to be adjusted here in the days ahead. We're not ready for a snowfall map just yet. Some of you are asking, how much snow are we looking at? We're not ready to give you specific numbers. We probably won't be until, I'd say, Sunday. But it's still something to keep an eye on. Do I think this is going to be as big of a snowstorm as January? No. But it's something that we'll have to watch in the days ahead. Let's see. Jason says, watching from Cloverport, I don't want the snow. I'm ready for spring. We're getting closer, slowly but surely. We're getting there. Chris, on the other hand, one of the Brian Good fans in here, right? Bots, bring it on. We'll see. We shall see. Danny makes a good point on Twitter. The Canadian seems to be kind of the middle ground between the GFS and the Euro. I would agree. I really think the main snow potential is going to be along the Ohio River north. From Louisville down to E-Town, it's kind of that battleground. And then south of E-Town, my gut feeling will be mostly rain. That's just my gut feeling at this point. Like I said, we're not ready to go into specific numbers just yet. If you watch my forecast this weekend, we'll likely have a snow map and if we need to, an ice map as we get towards probably Sunday is when we'll feel comfortable enough to go with the actual snowfall forecast. So that's where things stand with Tuesday's system. Now, again, this is the GFS showing us the potential for snow, the snow cover. This doesn't go into specific numbers, just gives us an idea of what the GFS thinks when it comes to where most of the snow is going to fall. Obviously, being a colder solution, being a colder model right now, it gives basically the entire region a good bit of snow. But I caution that most models are trending warmer. So that's kind of why I'm saying I think areas along the Ohio River, including here in Louisville, into southern Indiana would be the main zone to watch for the most potential to see some snow. Angie says, don't say the dirty word. No ice. No ice. Might have to say ice. I'm sorry, Angie. I'm sorry, but it is possible that we get at least a little bit of ice in here on Tuesday. All right, now we go to Thursday. This is a setup. I was talking about that potential for significant amounts of rain and flooding. And the reason why is because you just kind of have these systems going like trains on a track, southwest and northeast over the same spots over and over again. And whether it's rain or freezing rain or snow, a lot of these systems will have a ton of moisture with them. Going over the same spots, that's going to cause a flooding concern, especially in our Kentucky counties. But nonetheless, let's look at Wednesday afternoon first with this second part, okay? Wednesday afternoon, 4 o'clock, rain, plain rain. Will be warm enough to where it starts off as rain, it looks like. Maybe even a few thunderstorms down towards Alabama and Tennessee. For my friends in North Alabama, pay attention to this. Here at home, starts off as rain, and this will be a classic scenario where we have to see how much moisture is going to be on the backside of this system as the colder air moves in. Get this all the time. Low pressure out here, Eastern Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia. Here comes that colder air rushing in behind that low. And the question is, as we get towards Thursday morning, especially, is how much moisture is still left. And you see here, there's quite a bit of moisture still left as the colder air moves in. This would be enough to potentially give us another coating of snow at minimum, maybe more. And potentially cause travel issues Thursday morning. This one is not quite set in stone just yet, but it's something we'll have to keep an eye on as well. And like I said earlier, one system affects the next, which affects the next. So how tomorrow plays out will have a big role in how Tuesday plays out. How Tuesday plays out will have a big role in what happens on Thursday. But this would potentially be another scenario where we have more accumulations to talk about as we get in towards Thursday. So those are the two main systems that we're watching for next week. A lot to talk about over the next 10 days. Here it is. The good news is Valentine's Day looks good. Looks like a break in between Thursday and what could happen next weekend. Next weekend looks like mainly rain, but it could be another scenario where colder air moves in, still enough moisture around to where it may transition to a little snow as well. Busy, busy, busy over the next 10 days. That's where things stand at this point. Any last minute questions before we sign off? Let's see here. Linda's not a fan. No, thank you. No, thank you. Katie's hoping for a bust. And this has a big bust potential, Tuesday especially, depending on how warm it is and how far up that warmer air goes, how far north that warmer air goes, especially in Kentucky. I really think Kentucky, especially south of Louisville, will likely see mostly plain rain. But again, we're 4 days out, so a lot could still change over the next few days. Judy is ready for spring. I'm with you. I am with you. I'm ready to warm things up and keep things warm for a little while, right? All right, guys, that's going to do it. Appreciate you tuning in as always. I'll have the forecast coming up here on midday on the TV side of things at 11 a.m. Hope you'll tune in then. Again, Brian will be back with the Snow Talk on Monday. He'll be here. He'll be here as we get towards that winter storm potential on Tuesday, and then we'll see what happens Thursday. And we'll see what happens after that and next weekend as well. So he'll be back then, we promise. Until then, you can catch our forecast coming up in about an hour on midday on the TV side of things and through the rest of the afternoon and evening as well. Make sure you stay tuned throughout the weekend too. I'm hopeful we'll have a snowfall forecast for you for Tuesday by the time we get to Sunday. All right. That's hopefully when we get some more confidence in how Tuesday is going to play out. All right. That's it for now, guys. Appreciate you watching as always. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the comfortable temperatures. It's cool, I know, but at least it's bright blue sky. So enjoy that today and have a great weekend. We'll see you guys on midday here in about an hour. Take care.